In this video, I thought I'd talk about a repair I just did on this VCR DVD combo unit. This thing came in here with a symptom I've heard on many other occasions. I'll let you get an example of what the symptom sounded like. What you're hearing sounds like a couple of gears grinding together, and what's happening is this thing is trying to load a tape even though there's no tape in it, so the mechanism can't move in its normal operating position. So it just sits there and grinds. Well, before I explain why this is happening, I'll go into explaining a little bit about how this thing works. If the power is off on this particular VCR, as soon as I put a tape in, it knows to load the tape. And the reason it knows is because there's an infrared beam emitted from this prism in the center here that's being picked up by the infrared detector on this side and on this side. And if for any reason that beam gets blocked, such as when you put a tape in it, it automatically tries to load the mechanism. In fact, I'll let you see what I mean here. As soon as we reach a certain threshold, there we go, automatically loads. We don't need it to load right now, but I'm just doing that for demonstration purposes, so let me go ahead and eject that. So basically these detectors on each side need to see this beam at all times, even if the power's off on this unit, this infrared LED sitting here glowing. And if for some reason the beam is blocked, like I showed, you'll hear that grinding noise. Or if the infrared LED goes bad, it will think that the beam is blocked and it will actually try to load. So basically what I had to do is I had to go in and I had to change this infrared LED right here. And for what it's worth, if you own one of these units, I highly recommend that you unplug this thing when you're not using it. The same with VCRs, and you'll prolong the life of the LED emitter. A lot of people don't realize these things are going 24/7 and they will burn out like any light bulb. So if you've got a rather expensive unit like this thing here, which is able to record onto a DVD, you don't want to use it up sooner than you have to. By the way, if you do this job, make sure you observe the polarity on your infrared LEDs. It does have a plus and a minus, or an anode and a cathode. And if you put it in backwards, it's not going to work. Now, if you take note on the circuit board, you usually have a little symbol of a diode letting you know which is the anode and which is the cathode. By the way, when you remove this little prism right here, be careful that I always tend to not notice the fact that it's holding this little gear in place here, and that gear always pops out on me when I'm repairing these things. Anyway, this is a fairly common symptom. You may have heard it before yourself. And so, oh, by the way, if you want to know if the LEDs burn out, there's a quick check you can do. Most cameras will detect if it's burnt out. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and shine the camera down at the prism here. Let's see if we can see the LED emission there, or infrared emission. Oops. Let me see if I can block some of the light so we can see that a little bit better. There we go. You can see the little glowing right there. Sometimes hard to pick it up. Today I was actually using somebody else's phone trying to see if a remote was working, like you can on this one, and her particular phone was not able to see the infrared light coming off of her remote. So I guess some of the cameras this may not work on, but it does on this one. Anyway, that's all I've got to share at the moment. I hope you enjoy the video. As always, if you like it, please give me a thumbs up and please subscribe.